Good morning, Bronzo. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frank Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices, and we've allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something that you can see yourself supporting, well, we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you like our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. Make sure you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Remember, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food. All I ask of my community is something very simple. Uh, Make sure that you subscribe to our social media platforms. As of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, join the cause. Make sure you subscribe to our social media platforms. More importantly, make sure that you subscribe to Frank Olivo TV. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday religiously. So make sure that you're subscribed. We will not be silenced. And always remember, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you provide us. Thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? I know. We've been saying that last Friday was going to be the last day before we get released and no politics from here till January the 5th. I know, but it's just too much. Ladies and gentlemen, with the start of this week, many are anticipating the festivities. I have a great responsibility today and tomorrow to give it to you. After Tuesday, everybody's going to tune me out if you haven't already. Um, Nobody wants to talk about politics. It's only us nerds that live, sleep, and breathe this, right? I was contemplating whether I was going to go on the holidays or not. I prefer to have a story. I prefer to come at you with something. I don't want to come on here and just talk about kumbaya and whatnot. So it's going to be Tuesday. Tomorrow will be our last day. We are going to take a break. We will be posting throughout the holidays, but I want y'all to miss me. It's like that relationship, right? I want you to need me. And if you have me all the time, well, you might take me for granted. Just kidding. So Tuesday, tomorrow will be our last day that we will be coming on the podcast. For sanity purposes, I'm going to take a little break. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about an interesting story that has been brewing just last week. A story that has captivated the minds of not only the Rio Grande Valley, but throughout the country. And it's a very sensitive topic, and we hope that we don't disrespect the either party. We understand that in this type of case situation, there's always going to be someone that's going to be happy for you, and there's always going to be someone that's going to be upset at you. District judges have a great responsibility in shaping our community moving forward. We entrust in them our vote to make sure that they are to take the tough decisions to preserve and protect those within Cameron County. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about how the district attorney pretty much called out a state district judge for releasing an inmate. It is very important for us as a community to be well aware of who our leaders are, what our leaders are doing. This program is designed in a way to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable. We want to make sure that you have the full enchilada. Whatever you decide to do with that information, it's totally up to you. Before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, a word from our sponsors.
I've dedicated my life to public service, but now I see a county that's ready for change. It's time to bring accountability, transparency, and efficiency to how your tax dollars are managed. We can lower taxes and make government work smarter for you. I'm Jonathan Gracia, and I humbly ask for your vote for Cameron County Treasurer. So together, we can build a better future.
We started today's program by reminding you of this being a difficult story for all parties. We wish that the justice system would bring some side of closure. We understand that whether you're for or against, it's going to be difficult for you to side with either party. We understand that our community as a whole expects there to be fairness, for justice to be served, and that is something that we all seek, right? Whenever loved ones lose a child, a sibling, they always make sure that their death is not in vain, that their memory lives on forever, that whatever happened to them gets corrected. They're seeking justice for that person. We have spoken about this story previously, and we gave our idea, our analysis of what transpired. For those individuals that aren't aware of this story that has taken over social media these past 6 months, has been one that has touched the hearts and minds of many. We as a community have a soft spot for children. We find great pain whenever we hear of sickness, of pain, of misery. The Bible teaches us that the children, if we look into their eyes, we're looking at our Maker. They're innocent. They are full of life, so much to live forward to. The parents have great expectations for them. They start college funds. They make sure that what they're doing today eventually pays off for their children. What's that message? I'm giving my child everything that I didn't have. And we see how parents sacrifice and go far and beyond to provide their families with a better quality of life. The story that has touched the minds and hearts of the community as of late has been that of baby Logan. Baby Logan was a student at one of a local daycare. After a field trip, they found baby Logan in a van during the scorching heat summer of Brownsville, Texas. 2 women were charged of this crime. And what we have seen since then has been that the community has been very opinionated, and rightfully so. This is, at the end of the day, a child, a 4-year-old, a beautiful human being. This is a tough story. I genuinely believe that those women that were charged, I don't think they wished that upon this baby. Was it an honest mistake? Possibly. Did they fail their duties and responsibilities by not making sure that every child was off that van after that field trip? People have made that argument. Negligence. Maybe you didn't mean it, but you were negligent. You caused the death of a child. What we have seen from this story was that these judges have a great responsibility in making sure that we as a community are made whole again. I have previously stated how working for a state district judge to me was the greatest honor. It taught me a lot, went through ups and a lot of downs. But what I learned from this was that those judges have a great responsibility. And I don't want to have this program as thinking that this program is designed in a way to bash a judge. I would never do that. I have the utmost respect for attorneys and judges. Ultimately, they are the ones that we go to whenever we have problems. They are essentially doctors. Fix my problem for a divorce case, fix my problem with a criminal case. At the end of the day, we feel as if this story is going to be one that's going to be coming up and coming up and coming up, and maybe possibly someone could benefit from this. What we have seen from this story has been that Karen Silva is currently pregnant. She pled guilty earlier this month, and the initial punishment was 5 years. Now, this is a very unique case. This is something that is possibly could be seen as a humanitarian issue. Karen Silva is pregnant. For the past 6 months, she's been incarcerated. She is bound to give birth in the next 30, 45 days or so, according to her attorneys. Is this something that is a humanitarian issue, that the judge is showing mercy to this woman? Is this something to where this had to be done? Again, it's a difficult story, depending on who you support or who you vouch for. This story has grown and grown so much, and people are already talking about having a protest against this judge. These state district judges, and Gloria Rincones did run for re-election in November of 2024. Her seat will not be up for another 2.5, 3 years, if it's fair to say. Many people are asking, what can be done? Many people are questioning. Karen Silva was sentenced early November. By late November, she was already sentenced. The judge came back and shocked her probation, pretty much saying, you're not going to spend 5 years in jail. What we learned from this case is that many people are up in arms. They're upset. How can you let this happen? How can you, as a judge, release a person that has, quote unquote, blood on their hands? It's a difficult story, and it's one that has captivated us. We feel for all parties involved, and we don't want to sound heartless, because it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't type of story. We as a community have been asking the question, is this justice? Should a woman who was negligent, who pled guilty to a crime, should she be given mercy? Is this a case where we want to rehabilitate her? We want to help her grow as a person? I don't know. That's something that you as a community are going to have to answer. You as a community are able to decide who are your leaders, who are your representatives. Are you okay with this decision? That a judge granted probation to a woman that pled guilty, pled to 5 years. She admitted that she was negligent in the death of a 4-year-old. It's a back and forth story. It's a very difficult story. It makes it even worse whenever Bronzeville Estación, people start to ask, what about the district attorney? What role does he have? The way it works, ladies and gentlemen, as a layman, and through my experience, shock probation is something that judges grant for many reasons. Maybe they want to strike fear in the inmate. They say, look, you're going to, I've seen somebody go away for 10 years. And they're like, oh my God, my life is over. The judge shocks them in a month or two, brings them back, and they say, did you get a taste of it? Do you want to go back? And they say, no. And they walk that straight line. Me as a layman, that's what shock probation is. It's supposed to shock you. Hey, if you want to be in jail, go back. But if you want an opportunity, you felt it. It's like, what's that biblical? Jonah in the mouth of the whale? He was in there. He didn't listen to what God was telling him. And then once God got him in that whale, he was like, God, it's me again. I'll do whatever you say. Just please help me. That is what shock probation is intended for, in my opinion, as a layman. It's supposed to, hey, snapea, get on the ball. Live a righteous, just life. Be good. If not, you're going back. What makes this case worse, Brownsville Estacion, is what the district attorney is saying in regards to this ruling by the judge. He's saying that we need to elect better people that will make the right decision.
Was left in a daycare van for around 5 hours after a June field trip. Silva was the driver. The judge sentenced Silva to 10 years probation. The Cameron County District Attorney says she'll walk free once she's deported to Mexico for overstaying her visa.
She's going to be walking free tomorrow, if not today. Walking free, going home to her family. What punishment is that? No, I disagree with the judge's decision. I second her, opinion as to you need to elect the right judges to make right decisions.
This will be the family's first Christmas without Logan. Even in her grief, Logan's mom says she'll always remember the happiness he brought to everyone around him because a mother never forgets.
He was happiness. He was a little happy baby boy.
How do you feel as a community in regards to this case? Does it help the judge that the district attorney pretty much called her out? At the end of the day, the district attorney, his job is our safety, to make sure that these people, the residents within Cameron County are safe. What we find from this is the backlash of this case. And it's very moving. It's very touching. People who have children are saying, this is wrong. The mother of the child herself stated, the judge failed my son. During the hearing, the mother stated that she had a case for her son. Why am I having to argue against this? Aren't you listening to me? Don't you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Why isn't anybody listening to me? And she said this in open court. She testified in open court, like a witness statement after the sentencing, after the judge's ruling, and she felt hopeless, as we could all imagine. People are starting to say, hey, she should have not been given mercy whatsoever. It does not matter whether she's illegal or not. She contributed to the death. People are saying, hey, the judge basically told everyone that if you go in front of a judge and cry that you don't want your baby born in prison, they'll give you probation. Wow. She should still serve her sentence. Yes, no amount of time will bring back her son, but this is a slap in the face of the mother of this poor child. I put my shoes I try to put myself in the shoes of this grieving mother. That is an emptiness that they will have for the rest of their lives. And it would be hard for anyone to try and put ourselves in her shoes, the torment, the suffering that she will live for the rest of her life. If we try to put ourselves in Karen Silva's, you women could possibly, understand a lot better than I can. But they say that, being pregnant, it's hard, it's tough. You have to eat right. You have to go with your doctor, get the adequate prenatal care. You have to make sure that emotionally, mentally, you're good. In my warped mind, I think that if the woman doesn't eat right, if she doesn't take care of herself, if it could ultimately affect the baby, and somehow, if she doesn't eat the right nutrition, if all if she's stressed out, if she's worried, that somehow affects the child. Is this a case where a judge is saying a life was lost? I'm trying to save a new life. Thinking out loud, I don't know. Could it be possible to let the it would be expensive, I'm sure, to let the inmate out to have birth and then come back and do the 5 years? I know in a perfect world, right? But that would cause a lot of hoops and hurdles and whatnot. Could that have been an option? Maybe, possibly. But to shock her, to let her go, it's causing people to scratch their heads and say, was this the right decision? There's already a protest that is circling around. They're already saying, hey, we need to let our voice be heard. This isn't justice. This isn't fair. What I want the community to ask themselves is, should we save a life? Should a child bear the sins of the mother, of the father? Is this something to where the judge is saying, I'm helping a woman. She has pled guilty. She has shown remorse to the court. She's a mother of her own. There's no way she would want this to happen. She is remorseful. What's going to happen? Are people going to show up to this January 5th protest? I'm sure. Right now, the courthouse is quasi open, quasi closed for the holidays. Some judges like to get last minute inmates, last minute cases right before the Christmas holiday to issue rulings and holiday schedules and whatnot. Because they organized the protest for today, but it's closed, sort of. Not everyone is there. Everyone is ready for the holidays. What got me thinking was of a case. Is this going to open up an opportunity? I'm just thinking out loud. Is this going to open up an opportunity to an attorney, a Republican attorney, someone that could use this against the judge? Whenever we think of judges, and I've used this analogy before, state district judges is a position that doesn't come up too often. It is one that it is kind of, sort of, I'm not putting it in the same level, but in terms of vacancy, it's like the Supreme Court. It's rare for a president to appoint to the Supreme Court. President Trump has done, what, 2-3 appointments? There are those positions that if one stays on, for the most part, they could retire on the bench. Same thing with here with Cameron County. State district judges, the 107th District Court, Judge Benjamin Uresti served the community for decades. There are other judges on there that have also have served for a long time, and they could stay there as long as possibly they don't have such rulings such as this. Inmate Livingston. Inmate Livingston is a case, ladies and gentlemen, that I got very familiar with. Everyone knows of the story of Judge Abel Limas. Judge Abel Limas was a former 404 District Court who was ordered to prison following his conviction for racketeering. He served 72 months. He had to pay restitution in the sum of millions of dollars. He did have supervised release. And the reason why he was arrested was because of selling his courtroom for favorable rulings. Many people were arrested because of this Abel Limas case. Rosenthal's is a big name. Jim Solis, other attorneys. The state witness, the government witness, Abel Limas, pretty much told on everybody. Armando Villalobos. And a case that caught the attention of many people was Inmate Livingston, who killed an Edinburgh teacher in 2005 at the island. He shot her execution style after she didn't want nothing to do with him. She was breaking it off. And like a typical weak man, he eliminated her. He said, well, if I'm not having you, no one is. And this story, ladies and gentlemen, this story captivated the minds and the hearts of people because of what happened, of what transpired. Inmate Livingston was arrested. He was sentenced. And before Judge Abel Limas, Inmate Livingston left. He never showed up for sentencing. It was learned through Abel Limas that there was an agreement with Armando Villalobos, the former district attorney, to let Inmate Livingston give him time to fix his affairs. Can you imagine that? Someone pled guilty to murder, and the judge is giving him time to set his affairs in order. What? Isn't that a slap in the face to the family? Isn't this something? What do you mean to get his affairs in order? He didn't care about this beautiful woman that he eliminated. What we saw from this case, ladies and gentlemen, was that Inmate Livingston used a .40 caliber handgun to shoot and kill his girlfriend and dumped her body at South Padre. Abel Limas, then the 404 state district judge, sentenced Livingston to 23 years in prison back in 2007 before giving him 60 days to put his affairs in order. Former Cameron County District Attorney Armando Villalobos, who was involved in a bribery scandal, he found himself in the middle of the Livingston case. Federal prosecutors alleged that Villalobos orchestrated a scheme to line his own pockets that allowed Livingston to escape in 2007. Testimony at a federal court in Brownsville revealed that Villalobos, who spent 13 years in federal prison, conspired with Limas. They let Livingston flee and they split a $500,000 bond. Ultimately, Livingston was captured in India and he was extradited to the United States. And this case, ladies and gentlemen, the Amit Livingston case, it closed the final chapter of the cash for court favors scandal that plagued or has plagued Cameron County. Judge Elia Lopez defeated Abel Limas in large part because, according to insiders, she went to study cases. Every questionable rulings that Judge Limas gave, she used it. And she said, look, community, Judge Abel Limas is soft on crime. Is this what you want? Is this what you need? Is this going to happen with Judge Rincones? Now, I'm not alleging in no way that there was something questionable, that there was a scandal, that there's a bribery in this particular case. No, by no means. I will never dare say that. But many people are questioning. Why did this happen? Is this case, is the Logan Urbina case going to be a case where attorneys, Democrat and Republican, they're going to run against the judge? Because you know that this family is going to, from here till the day Judge Rincones runs again, they're going to be vocal. During Charro days, they're going to hold signs. Any chance they get, they're going to remind the community of this very case. Does that open up a door for a potential judge to run against Rincones? I don't know. This does not help. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever we talk about community leaders, what are your expectations? At the end of the day, whatever I say is not important. Whatever you feel, whatever you believe, that's what's important. Remember, our program is not to sway no one. We provide information. We hope that you as a community, with better informed decisions, better informed information, you will be able to make better decisions where it counts the most, at the ballot boxes, in the elections. We genuinely want a better community. We want a better society. Will this case in question be held against Judge Rincones in the future? Our only possible outcome is yes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Best believe Good Morning Brazil will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. religiously. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and your attention. Tomorrow will be our last day on the podcast, on the tube. We're going to take a little break for sanity purposes. Thank you so much for your time and your patience. See you here tomorrow. Make sure that you subscribe to our social media platforms. My name is Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brazil. Peace.